if you read Paul in his own situation, the problem Paul's dealing with is not the problem that Luther was dealing with. He's dealing with an entirely different problem. And that is that there were Judaizers that had come down. We see it first in Acts chapter 15. They had come down to Antioch and they were saying, unless these Gentiles are circumcised and keep the customs of Moses, they cannot be saved. Essentially, they need to become Jewish proselytes in order to be saved. Now, the Council of Jerusalem in Acts 15 answered that question, but it's not as though it was put to bed. It was put to rest. And so Paul, throughout his writings, is dealing with this. And so what I would say is that if you read the book of Galatians, for instance, in its context, in terms of what Paul is dealing with, and if you read Romans in its context, that is, in terms of what Paul was dealing with, then you can see pretty clearly, Galatians is the most clear on this, that when Paul says, you guys, we're justified by faith apart from works of the law, he's addressing that Judaizing thing. He's saying, right, we are saved by faith in Christ, not by becoming circumcised and keeping the customs of Moses and becoming Jewish proselytes. And by the way, that's why a couple of times in Galatians, Paul, ends up summarizing by saying things like this. Look, it's not a matter of whether you're circumcised or uncircumcised. What matters is faith working itself out in love. Or it's not a matter of whether you're circumcised or uncircumcised. What is important is becoming a new creation in Christ. And so I think this is a very, very important example, because I think that the Reformation doctrine of justification essentially grows out of a mistake in terms of these very lessons. It grows out of a mistake where basically we're going to read the Bible, we're going to read Paul in the light of Martin Luther's struggle, rather than we're going to read Paul in the light of Paul's struggle.